Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to you. Today, we're going to dive into a really profound passage from the Quran that kind of challenges one of our most basic ideas. What does it really mean to see? It suggests that the most important kind of vision, well, it has nothing to do with our eyes at all. So what is it? And how do we find it? Let's get into it. And this verse right here, this is the anchor for our entire explainer. For indeed, it is not the eyes that are blinded, but blinded are the hearts. This single idea, that real perception isn't physical, but it's spiritual, that's the lens we're going to use to understand everything else today. So the passage immediately presents us with a central puzzle. It tells us that a clear, powerful message has been sent, one that's full of guidance. But for some reason, many people just reject it. So why is that? What's causing this huge disconnect between the message and the way people receive it? And here you can really see that tension laid out so clearly. On one side, you have the divine message, and it's described as being packed with diverse examples, made super clear for us to understand. But then, on the other side, what's the common human response? Turning away. This gap, this is the central problem these verses are about to unpack for us. But before we even get to the diagnosis, the text sets up a really critical foundation. To understand why people reject the message, we first have to understand the nature of the one who sent it. And it's all about a perfect, absolutely crucial balance. So the verse introduces us to this beautiful, powerful duality through two of Allah's names. First, Al-Aziz, the exalted in might, which means he has the absolute power to make his will happen. But that's perfectly paired with Ar-Rahim, the merciful, meaning he is also infinitely compassionate and responsive. You see, it's not a contradiction, it's the complete picture. And this balance is absolutely everything. His incredible power doesn't cancel out his mercy, and his mercy doesn't undermine his authority. You could think of it as a theological anchor, a stable, foundational truth. Keeping this balance in mind is really the key to unlocking the rest of the passage. All right, so with that foundation in place, the Quran now turns to the diagnosis. Why is the message rejected, despite the clear signs and that perfect balance of might and mercy? What is the actual root cause here? The text uses a very, very specific word here, al-fasiqun. It says, these are the ones who disbelieve. And this term is so important. It doesn't just mean someone who's made a mistake or maybe hasn't heard the message. Nope. It refers to the defiantly disobedient, those who knowingly reject the truth, not because they're ignorant, but because of arrogance. And this question brings us right back to our central theme, but now it's framed as this powerful, direct question to us. Do they not have hearts by which to reason? This isn't just a statement, it's an invitation for every single one of us to reflect on the very tools we have for understanding reality. And this really captures the diagnosis perfectly. The problem isn't the data coming in. The eyes see just fine, the ears hear just fine. The breakdown is internal. The real failure is a spiritual one. It's a heart that has been closed off, that's unable to process and perceive the truth. It's almost like the heart has its own filter, and if that filter is set to reject, then it doesn't matter how much external evidence you give it. So, if the problem is a heart that can't see, what's the solution? Well, the passage doesn't just leave us with the diagnosis. It points us directly toward the cure, actively looking for the overwhelming evidence that's already all around us. And once again, the text challenges us with another direct question. Then will you not reason? This is a powerful call to action. It's urging us to move from just passively observing the world to actively reflecting on it, using the signs we find in both Revelation and in creation itself. And the Quran doesn't keep this stuff abstract. It points to very real, everyday signs. I mean, just take livestock, for example. It asked us to consider these animals, how they were created for our benefit, how they provide us with food and drink, and so many other resources. The point is that these ordinary parts of our world are actually extraordinary signs, pointing to a reality of constant provision and mercy. So this whole journey, from identifying the problem of rejection to reflecting on the signs in creation, it all leads to one final practical conclusion. How should we respond once our hearts actually begin to see? And the response, after all of this reflection, is just beautifully simple. So exalt Allah. It suggests that the natural, the logical outcome of a heart that finally sees, that recognizes the balance, the signs, the mercy,
is to respond with gratitude, with praise, and with remembrance.
And this isn't meant to be some rare, special event. The verse anchors this remembrance to the daily rhythm of our lives, in the morning and in the evening. The idea is to weave this awareness into the very fabric of our day, so it becomes a constant state of being.
So let's just bring it all together. What are the core insights here? First, true blindness isn't about your eyes, it's about your heart. Second, that divine reality is a perfect balance of incredible might and profound mercy. Third, that the entire world is filled with signs just waiting for us to reflect on them. And finally, the most natural response to seeing these signs is a life of consistent gratitude.
And that leaves us with a final thought to really ponder. If the evidence of a merciful and powerful creator is literally embedded in everything, from the stars above us to the animals we depend on, what does it actually take to open our hearts and truly see? Something to reflect on. Thank you for joining me.